Let's make history. Today is Saturday. This happened Wednesday, a few blocks from Times Square, block away from Port Authority. There was a guy, 30-year-old Marco Reyes. He's from the Fordham area in the Bronx, but he worked down in Chelsea at a well-known restaurant called the Cafeteria. I'm not familiar with it, never ate there, never heard of it. But he was on his way home from work about 10:30, 11 at night, stopped into a 7-Eleven, and when he came out, he was approached by someone with a gun and was murdered, shot in the head. Now, this account is coming from his 29-year-old sister, Gabby Reyes, and police didn't take long to identify who the guy was, even though it was said that he didn't have any identification on him. So I'm guessing either his wallet was taken or maybe he's an illegal migrant. And how did police find out who he was so quickly? He worked in Chelsea. That 7-Eleven he was at was on 42nd Street and 9th. That's about at least, 10 blocks from Chelsea. So it's not like people from the area that has known him to work in that restaurant will be able to identify him. So there's some question marks there. However, it's a real concern because this area, though it was always known to be a sleaze bucket area, now it's like Disneyland. But it was always, when I was growing up during the 80s and 90s, a sleaze bucket area. You could go see porn in the movie theater. Imagine that. Now everyone goes to these sites and these apps to see porn. But back then, you could go to the movie theater and see it. They had peep shows. You had seasoned prostitutes out there, seasoned pickpockets, and everything you could think of. But people weren't getting murdered like that, from what I knew. You know, people weren't getting murdered. That was reserved for the neighborhoods. Harlem, Bed-Stuy, Fort Greene, South Jamaica, Mott Haven, Hunts Point, Soundview, Brownsville, Lower East Side, but not in those touristy areas. Because even though it was a sleazy side of town, it was still a tourist area even back then. That's why the pickpockets and the prostitutes would flock there. But again, you didn't have people pulling guns out, shooting. And this has been common. This is becoming more common lately. There have been a few shootings in Times Square. I think this year alone, one of the food vendors just got shot. It was a few months back. So, New York, what are we doing? We have to do better. Things seem to be falling apart at the seams, disintegrating, so to speak. Because even though back then it was sleazy, as I said, there was still an understanding of a certain line you didn't cross. And now that line has become erased. So, may seem like nothing, may seem like business as usual for us New Yorkers, but something to take heed to. Definitely something to watch for.